Good morning. It is my joy to be with you this morning and to share a little bit about my personal spiritual journey and some of the things that are motivating me and exciting me about what I'm learning about myself, about God, about reality. You know, I took the Strength Finders assessment a couple of years ago, and my number one strength is lifelong learner. So I see a visual of a little Pac-Man going across just eating stuff up, you know, learning more and more. I think I came in this world this way. When I was a child, I can remember standing on my sidewalk in front of my front porch and having this question pop into my head. What is this? What's really going on here? How can this be? I was questioning reality. What is reality? How did it get here? What's the point? How can this be happening? And so my quest to really learn about that and to find an answer, I kind of gave up at some point. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's haphazard, it's random. But that is not true. I think I probably got an inkling about it when I first came into Unity and I heard Unity's third principle, which we call the law of mind action, which has been stated in many ways, but the way I learned it is thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. So I know that my thoughts that I hold in consciousness, when coupled with the energy of my heart, my feelings that I put behind those thoughts, can manifest in my reality. Well, what does that mean? Do you know, in the beginning, I took that literally. Okay, I'm creating this chair, all right? I'm creating this podium. And then I kind of backed off from that because I could hear about me other Unity students saying, well, what's in your consciousness that drew that to you? You know, you're having a challenge. What's in your consciousness that drew that to you? And so there was this lack of understanding of the depth of this teaching. And I think we inadvertently took on a little shame around that. So at least I did. So I backed off from that and I reframed this principle to, well, it's not what happens to you. It's how you respond to it, how you make the best of it. You've got a lemon, make lemonade. You know, add some sweetness to it and make lemonade. So that seemed like a good way to go for several years, and I learned and grew and made progress, as all of us had, along a spiritual path. But recently, and the last couple of years, I've had a shift in the way I view reality. What if this is all coming from you? What if this, my reality, is all coming from me? Whoa. But I am a spiritual being. I am here having a human experience. And the way I'm having a human experience, for all of you Star Trek fans, is I have a holodeck. You know, I have a holodeck. And you're all showing up on my holodeck. And I've given you the script, and you're saying exactly what I've asked you to say in my reality. Whoa. What if I don't like what you're saying? Should I fix you? You know, there's Unity minister, Reverend Gary Simmons, who's an author and has written Eye of the Storm and a lot of other things. And he uses the example. He said, you know, when you get up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you go, I got to fix this. He said, you don't reach out to the mirror and start combing the hair in the reflection. You know, you have to work on yourself because it's coming from you. It's coming from you. I think the beginning of spiritual maturation, deep advancement in living the spiritual life, is when we can stand in the space and say, I am 100% responsible for my reality. And it's more than just making lemonade from lemons. It's the fact that a lemon showed up at all. You know, a lemon showed up at all. I want to illustrate this with an example that I know many of you know about, and I've probably heard before, but it's the work of Dr. Hugh Lin in Hawaii. Dr. Hugh Lin was a therapist, and he was the director of the criminally insane hospital. When he arrived, he was given all the folders for all the inmates, and he never saw a single person. The staff was at high turnover, they were full of stress, they were at each other's throats, and what he did is go into his office, and he took 100% responsibility for every single patient and every single staff person. He would open their file and read their case history. And he said, if this is showing up in my reality, if this patient is here and it's in my world, then I am 100% responsible. So he would approach it in this way. He would start by centering himself in love, and I'm giving you a formula here that's going to work in any area of your life. If there's such a thing as fairy dust, the magic bullet to slay all the vampires that suck the life out of you, this is it, okay? He first connected to the love within himself for the divine. He connected with the presence of God. He connected heart to heart in that place where he could appreciate the beauty of the world. He connected to love. Because after all, there's only one presence and one power, and that is the intelligence and love that we all are as we manifest as individuals. So he went straight to the source, and he connected with that source. And the second thing he did, he said, I'm sorry. And this is not an affirmation of I'm a worthless, low-down human being. I'm a sorry excuse for being here on the planet, sucking up all the air. No. This is repenting from the heart. And what he was saying I'm sorry for is, I am sorry that there is a need in me to have this person show up this way in my reality. He took 100% responsibility. I'm sorry this is showing up in my reality. And it's coming from some unhealed issue, some wounded memory that's inside of me, something that takes me outside of the peace and the harmony that is the kingdom of heaven within. The third thing he said was, please forgive me. So when I translate this, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. The please forgive me is equivalent to saying, I don't know what it is, but you know. Please heal this. Please dissolve this so that I can return to the reality that is established for me by the divine presence and for this other person. He did this with every single patient. The fourth thing in this prayer was, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for taking care of this. And every single one of them was healed. The staff became a harmonious working group together, and in 3 months' time, they closed that hospital. And they don't have one on Hawaii, I'm told. They do not have a hospital for the criminally insane. That's what Dr. Hugh Lin did. So in working with this, I'm thinking about the teachings of Jesus, and I'm thinking about, because I grew up in the South, you know, I'm a Bible person, okay? If King James said it, that's the way it should be said, right? I'm only kidding there, guys. But Jesus did say, the kingdom of heaven is within you. And if somebody says, oh, it's in the sky, it's up in heaven, then the birds will precede you. And if it's in the ocean, then the fish will precede you. It is within. Well, we think the kingdom of heaven is the consciousness of peace and harmony and love. And that is true. It most certainly is that. But it's also power. It's power. And we cannot exercise that power wisely until we claim it. And we cannot claim it if we're not willing to take 100% responsibility for what is showing up in our reality. So if there's an aspect of your life that is chaotic, painful, challenging, depressing, no shame. No, you have the power to heal this. And you don't need years and years of psychoanalysis to determine the origin of it. You just need to take responsibility for it, ownership of it. Do you know, we have our individual consciousness, and there's something our co-founder Charles Fillmore called race consciousness. We can clean up a lot of stuff in the race consciousness if we're only willing to own it. We own it first, and then we surrender it to God. You know, we want to bypass the owning part. We want to surrender a lot of stuff to God. It's like, okay, God, I have had it with this person. This person is all yours. I can't do anything about the way they are, but you can, so you just take it. And we call that surrender. No. Surrender is, I'm 100% responsible that this person is showing up this way. And until I take responsibility for my own experience, I'm going to have it again and again and again with that same person or somebody else down the line. Once I own it, I really can surrender it. I really can say, you know, this is not your will for my life or for this person. Then you let it go. And then you return to a state of absolute gratitude for the beauty of this world and for every experience that we have. I started doing this prayer probably about a month ago. I ran across it. And within 24 hours, long-standing issues began to dissolve. I started doing it with my personal relationships. I started doing it with all the business issues that I deal with that seem so challenging. I started doing it with my finances. I started doing it with every single thing that came into my reality that could use my prayer support. This is the most powerful way I have, and the simplest way I have ever prayed. So, have an acquaintance who has some issues going on. They've done an MRI. They don't know what it is. Guess what? It's my opportunity to say, I love you. And I'm sorry that he's showing up this way in my reality. Something in me has called this forth. Heal. Forgive it. Release it. Thank you. So I was sharing this process with a longtime friend of mine who's having a few little marital challenges, and he was saying, and she does this, and she does that, she says this, and she says that. And I said, okay, let me tell you about this prayer process that I'm doing. I said, first off, you realize it's coming from you, right? It's coming from you. And fortunately, he got that. A week later, I'm talking to him. I say, well, how's it going? Oh, I did the prayer you gave me. He said, really? He said, yeah, and the next day, I wasn't called this, that, or the other. It's like all the language shifted. And we've had 5 really good days. I said, good, keep it up. We talked a little more, and then he kind of went into, well, she this and she that. And I went, whoa, she's not doing anything wrong. It's you. Pray. Go into your heart. Take ownership of your experience. Repent for it, old-fashioned Christian word, which means change your mind. Recognize that it's yours. Own it. And then ask God to heal it. Ask the Spirit, the divine intelligence, the infinite love, whatever your name concept for God is. Ask it to be healed. And then let it go. And then let it go. So I'm finding, after a month of doing this, that I can shorten it a little bit. I mean, from I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. I can shorten it a little bit to I love you, thank you. Holding whatever it is in my heart. Because every prayer is a healing prayer, whether we know it or not. And every time we feel connected to someone, we are not powerless. This morning in our discussion group, we were talking about the increase in murders in Kansas City. What can we do? What can we do? We can own it. That if it's in our reality, it's an aspect of us showing up. That's how powerful we are as spiritual beings. Yes, we can join task force and we can write letters and we can do marches, and if you're called to do that, that's great. That's great. But start here. Start here with centering yourself in the love that you know is provided by the divine Spirit at all times and all ways. Return to that place. I'm sorry that my city is in such turmoil. I'm sorry that citizens who live here may be living in fear. I'm sorry for the people who are grieving for the loss of their loved ones. I'm sorry. This is not the kingdom of heaven. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please heal whatever it is, whatever unconscious belief is in myself or the race consciousness. And then thank you. You know, anytime we heal ourselves, anytime we have a spiritual insight, all boats rise. All of humanity is lifted up. So if there's situations in your life where you feel powerless, I'm here to say you are powerful beyond measure. Look what you're creating. If you create something you don't like, release it. Return to the center of love and ask for the peace and the harmony to be restored. And you know what? It is. It is. You have this feeling sometimes that you've come home. You know, you wake up those mornings and you feel good. You feel at peace. You just feel sweet. That's how it's supposed to be all the time. So now you're walking through the grocery store and there's mom yelling at her kid, be still, put that down. No, you can't have that. I love you. I'm sorry. This isn't my reality. That I have created this. I have created this. Please forgive me, heal this, so that I can return to normal, and so can this person. This person. We are here for each other. We're each other's mirrors. We don't walk this journey alone. We don't take anything personally. That's on the ego level. But on the spiritual level, you take it all personally. Take everything personally in the sense that you have the power to shift it. You have the power to influence and to heal, but you have to claim it. And you have to own it through love. Through love. So let's go back to the law of mind action. Thoughts held in mind and energy held in heart. This is my translation. Create the reality in which I live and move and have my being. So my prayer is that I am an expression of the divine love and peace and harmony. And I attract that mirror in my life. And where there is hatred, where there is disease, where there is poverty, where there is want or lack of any kind, I use my divine power to ask God to nullify it. I'm sorry. Please forgive me and heal what needs to be healed. And thank you. So my message this morning is really pretty simple. I bet I've said it 10 times. And it works if you work it. It works if you work it. So how many of you would like to see amazing results this week? Tomorrow. Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be just super cool? Stand back and behold the glory of your spiritual power. One other thing I'll say about this. When I say your spiritual power, it is not your personal power. See, there's the ego, and then there's the spiritual self. The ego is the one who says, what's in your consciousness? You know? But it's a spiritual self that says, see, you have an opportunity to heal, to bring love, to bring compassion. You have that power. That's the spiritual self. You live in a different paradigm. Step into it. Is it going to be one day for you, or is it going to be this day for you? I really have nothing more to share, except that I love you. I'm sorry for your pain, wherever there is pain. And in my heart, I'm asking for forgiveness and healing for me and for you, so that we can know our unity of spirit, anchored in love, peace, harmony, creativity, joy, all those things we seek in our lives. We have the way out. We have the way out of self-induced, useless, unnecessary suffering. We have the way out. But first, we've got to claim that we own it. Thank you. God bless you.